So just to start off, why don't you both introduce yourselves?
Yeah.
Yeah. So hello, I'm Leandro. I'm currently in my 5th year at Creative Seeds. I'm specialized in character creation, and I also do a bit everything that's around the characters, like CFX for the clothes movements, or also blend shape for the facial expressions.
And hi, I'm Antoine. I do environments, lighting, compositing, pipeline, a bit of everything, honestly. I'm a generalist. And I'm a creative seed as well, same as Leandro. And I've been here for around 4 years now. And I did computer science before, and been doing 3D for a while, for like almost 10 years now. And yeah.
Cool.
Hi.
Yeah, hi. So both of you, you do, which is cool. I love that you both friends. You both know each other. You both go to the same school. You both won rookie awards. Oh, my dog's gonna start barking. No, sorry. And you both won the rookie awards. So I already said that. So actually, what's it like studying in the same place? Like, how do you find it, and where do you study?
Well, actually, it's my 3rd year actually in Creative Seeds. So I wasn't. I was first in another school. Like I did two years in Brassard. It's another school. And when I back then I wanted to specialize into characters, and I couldn't really do that back then in that school. And so I went to Creative Seeds, and so yeah, like here in the school I really learned a lot. I learned so many different software, so many different skills, not just for characters but also for everything that goes around, and I really don't regret it. And I think because Antoine, you also joined not in the first year of Creative Seeds.
Yeah, I joined in 2nd year because I had been doing mostly lighting and compositing since high school, so since I was around 16. And I did that during my computer science studies as well, like on the side, and I was doing a bit of freelance and everything, but I only knew how to do lighting and compositing, and I wanted to do more, like make my own scenes, so yeah, I joined in 2nd year, and well, honestly, one of the reasons I joined is because of the environments mentor here. His name is Jean-Michel Burel, and yeah, I mean, he really, I guess, shaped me into like who I am, like as an artist today, and like the way I approach projects and like tackle new challenges and everything, my thought process. And yeah, I mean, I'm really happy I joined. Obviously, it filled in all the gaps in my knowledge I had. And yeah, and I mean, we hadn't worked together before because we did group projects, but not together. And this year, we were working on a short film together, and
Oh, nice.
it's going to be really cool. I
That's
think.
cool.
Yeah.
Are you
Yeah,
submitting again then to like the film of the year?
Yeah, I think we can't this year, but we can next year. Actually,
Can't this year.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so.
Oh, 'cause it's gonna be ready for
yeah,
next
because
year.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're finished in late June, and I think because of festivals and everything, submit the year after. But yeah, it's gonna be cool. It's there's 10 of us in the group. Leandro's doing characters. I do environments, lots of pipeline, and yeah, it's starting to look pretty cool. So I'm happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, you guys
Yeah.
are, I think, a really great example of students who have done a lot during their time as a student, because obviously there's so many different things that people can put themselves out there, and it's hard to people put themselves out there. And hearing that you're doing like team projects is like the closest that you can even get to actually working in the industry. So I think it's really cool that you're doing that. So we're gonna, in a minute, I'll just probably, I think your idea of letting you look through your entries and sharing your screen is a great idea. But I'm just gonna ask you both, like, what initially motivated you to enter?
Yeah. So first time I heard about the Wookiees was in my 2nd year at Brassard, in my first school, and like back then I I think the first thought that I had was that it would just be cool to win it, I guess, because in a 3D domain there aren't a lot of challenges or contests like this, and I really like the idea to have a challenge with so many people, and to test my skills, and to be able to see also the other works of the others, and to compare. And so the first idea, the first thing that I found interesting in the contest wasn't really the prizes, but it was really everything that goes around it, like to test. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's the same for me as well. Is we're kind of in a bubble at school, and like we have our friends and everything, and people in our grade, but we don't really know how we compare to other people around the world. And so it's nice that we have the opportunity to kind of see where everyone stands, I guess, and like how, I don't know, I guess how we compare, and if we did well. And yeah, for me it was, I think I discovered the rookies in 2020. And back then I only did lighting and compositing, so I thought in the future I do want to post. And then I posted in 2023, and then this year as well. And yeah, it was really to I guess see how, like, where I stood, because I don't know.
Yeah, so you weren't
And also
expecting winning.
to show your work.
Sorry.
No.
No. I think neither of us thought of
Really
winning.
not.
Okay.
Yeah. My friend woke me up at 1 a.m. He was like, Antoine, you won. I'm like, what?
Yeah, because there are so many people
Really?
on there and so many good entries. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
very crazy.
Was there any moment that like you were doubting yourselves when you were doing it? Like, were you thinking like, was there any moments you were close to not submitting?
yes.
Yeah, I think it's true for both of us. Yeah.
Do you want to go first? Or?
Sure. For me, it was, well, this year, 2024, where I saw all the entries and I thought, okay, there's no way I'm. I mean, they're really good, like, what's the point? And I didn't have a ton of new projects, so I thought, yeah, I wasn't too sure, honestly. And on the last day, I thought, okay, I'm gonna submit, because if I don't, I'm gonna regret it. So let's just do it. Let me just put something together, submit. Then I won, so it worked out. But yeah, it was honestly, it's kind of scary to see all the other entries, because then, like, you go on the website in the late stages and there's pages and pages of entries, like everyone's really good, and you're like, oh, it's hard. Yeah.
So I same as Antoine. I thought I didn't really want to make my entry last year because I already made an entry 2 years, like in my second year when I was in my second year at school, and in my third year. And so obviously I didn't win because, well, my projects weren't that good at the time, but back then I thought, yeah, maybe I can win. So I thought, like, last year, yeah, maybe I should just wait for my 5th year, and then I will have a ton of projects to share, and then maybe I'll have a more chance. And but also the fact that like I don't know. I don't know. I lost my words.
That's all right.
I'm a bit stressed.
No, that's totally cool. Yeah, I think it's actually an interesting thing to know that you've submitted before and it took that time to get to a winning entry. Like, it's not just like you submitted once and that was it, because I think for a lot of people, and it's true in like any aspect, like whether you're applying to a job even, it's like it's easy to give up after the first attempt. So yeah, that's cool. That's cool. So I think at this point, I think it would be really cool to see some visuals and see your entries. And maybe you could tell us a little bit about your process, your thought process, maybe anything, for example, if you submitted before, anything that you didn't work before and what you think worked in this case, and anything. I know it's hard to talk about yourselves, obviously, like it's hard for everyone, but please don't be too humble.
Right. So you have Leandro's.
Do you see?
Yeah, can you see the screen?
Do you see the screen?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay.
Leandro.
Yep. So this was my entry for 2024. The first thing that I had in mind was really to think about the projects that I wanted to show, because I had a lot of projects. The first 2 years that when I came in at Creative Seeds, I was really motivated and I produced a lot during these 2 years, and so I had a lot of characters to show, but obviously not all of them were good. So I kind of had a hard time choosing the one that I would set aside, because since I already applied 2 times earlier, I had a lot of projects that I was proud of, and I had a hard time setting that aside because, well, they weren't really reflecting my level anymore. But even if I said that, I still think that I put maybe too much characters in this entry because it's a bit too long, but I don't know. And so that's really the first thing that I did. And then since I had so many projects that I could show, I could easily decide which project I would put in which order. So I decided to put my 2 main projects at the very beginning. So those were these 2 girls. Those are 2 projects that I at that time finished recently. One at school, so this one, and one at home. And since they are in 2 different styles, like one is more stylized, one is more realistic, I thought that it would be cool to start with them, to show the variety of my skills, also to show that I could make the different styles. Because I think that, well, while we are at school, it's cool to like try many different styles, not to just block on something, because, well, we are still learning and studying. So it's now the time that you have it's now that we have the time to try different styles and all. Then I wanted my entry to be like look nice, to be so it would be aesthetic. And to do that, I made this kind of image for every project at the very beginning. So now you have this one with the character, a name, and then a little bit of a description of the project. And if you go down, you will have the same, but for the second project, and so on. So this, I thought it would be visually appealing, and it would make things look nice. On top of that, I also did some visual. I tried to make it really look nice. So I did some icons for the software that I used, and a bit with the colors of the character to make it cool. Also, a tip that I did was just this is like an image, but it looks like it's in the page. So I picked the color of the back page of the rookies. So unless you change it someday, it will look like this. So that's kind of cool. So I did this for a lot of images. I thought that it would look nicer. And yeah, what can I say else? So yeah, actually this kind of image, I had the idea because I saw a lot of, at the time when I wanted to make the entry, I watched a lot of different entries from last year and from the years before, and also entries in other categories, especially for the concept artists, because I always saw that in the concept artists, when they made characters, like a set of different characters, but they are different, but they are in the same like universe, they always presented it in a nice way, with a nice background, with the same style. So I kind of picked it from them for an inspiration.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think you're.
And yes.
Sorry, were you going to carry on?
No, go on.
Your entry is very cohesive, which I think probably helped. Like you say, it's all from the same universe, but it's like nicely presented and it's cohesive. Like although you have slightly different styles, it still looks like your work.
Yeah. I tried to like. That's why I had a hard time choosing my my projects, because I wanted to like also the quality to be kind of the same between all the projects. I didn't want the project to be like look not really nice compared to another. And so I did these. I put these 2 main projects at the very beginning. Then in the middle there are some other projects that I thought were a little less important. And then at the end, I tried to finish with again a big project. So whoops, that's a bit long.
Really
So, so I think this is the last project that I put. So again, this is one big a big project that I made that I was really proud of. So just to make a good impression at the beginning, at the end, just in case if people are a bit lazy and they don't see the whole post, sometimes I see the beginning and the end. So that's why I did it.
Yeah,
And
that makes sense.
actually, I finished the call maybe because he's smiling. He's a nice guy.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. Yeah. Oh, I was gonna say something. I was gonna say I just want to tell everybody, your entries don't have to be this long, by the way. Like it's really cool that Leandro had so much work, but it's definitely quality over quantity. And I'm guessing, I can't say this for sure, but I'm guessing that your strongest pieces in this entry really like carried it. You know, because it's like you say, you actually chose the ones that are in there. You didn't just put all of whatever you had. You know what I mean? So you did go for quality, which is definitely the point. And before we go to Antoine's, I wanted to ask you: was there anything that you learned from the previous years that you kind of, kept in mind for this entry?
Well, I don't know. Maybe just to be persistent, like just not give up, because I think you shouldn't be afraid to make an entry even if you think your work isn't well enough to win. Like maybe when I did my first entries, I kind of knew that I wasn't able to win, but there's still a little bit of hope, and it's always cool to take the time to make your post and to finish it, and then you can look back at it, and you're like proud of it. And also, I think that throughout, oh nice,
The scoring is nice.
so, yeah. So I thought that I think that throughout the entry that I make, it got nicer in the way that I put in the way that I organized my work, like now with all the images and the text that I mixed and the icons with the different colors. Like this time I really put a lot of effort in just making the entry and not just the content that I showed. So
Yeah.
I think it's a bit of all of that.
Yeah, like you kind of focused a lot on presentation as well as your artwork.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's important, but because sometimes some people post not just on the Wookies but on other internet pages. They post
Yeah.
like just images and not a lot of text, not really explaining it. And I think that it's important that people who maybe don't really know anything about the specialty about characters or just 3D in general, they should be able to understand a little bit of what you wanted to do, what you want to show, how you did it, stuff like that. So I think you shouldn't be afraid to explain things, because maybe for you it sounds obvious and maybe not really interesting, but it can be for other people.
Yeah. Yeah, it's super interesting to see other posts and see how they did their projects. You kind of learn something new every time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you've done a nice breakdown though, because something that we are not looking in the entries is like a really, really step by step. But this is how I did this. It's like the highlights, and I feel like you've provided the highlights of your process, so it gives us a really good understanding without like having like a complete tutorial, if that makes sense. So
Well,
I think it's really
I
great.
kind of needed to because I had a lot of projects, so I
Yeah.
didn't want to go into depth into every project.
Which
I
you're not
think
meant
that would
to
be
anyway.
way too long.
So it works really well.
Yeah,
And I see you don't have too much text. You have a really nice level of text. Like you're explaining to us enough detail and also leading with visuals.
Yeah. Sometimes the images just speak for themselves, though. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Or is there anything else you wanted to add, or does Anton want to show us his as well?
I think no, I think I'm good for now.
Yeah, thank you.
Sweet.
We have more questions.
Should we switch to my entry?
Yeah, I think it lasts too long. If we,
Yes. It's gonna be long.
We're not even
So
at the
many
top yet.
Yeah, we're still not there. Oh my
Almost there.
god. Yeah, Jesus. I am not as productive as Leandro was.
I slowed down now. It was back.
Right, so this is my entry. So yeah, I have much less projects. So what I did is for this entry, my 2024 entry, I posted on the last day, I think. And of course, I didn't have time to, edit my projects or keep working on them. So they were what they were. And what I wanted to focus on was the storytelling, I guess, kind of my story, because I can't, change my projects anymore. So I might as well, um, tell how I got there. So yeah, I tried to kind of make my, wait, let me scroll down the same way. Sweet. Ah, amazing. So yeah, I tried to kind of show my process, my inspirations, what is important to me, what I look for in the projects, and like the challenges I had. So yeah, I try to mix a bit of everything. So I think every project I take, I kind of try to do something new, different skill set. So for example, this one was a big, like I wanted to do a huge environment. This one was like in my first environments actually, and it was a bit smaller scale. Yeah, and I tried to mix a bit of everything. So there's some artistic stuff, but also some more technical, like script and coding, because I really enjoy that, and I wanted to, give a kind of a complete picture of the things I like and I guess uh, my resume as an artist, I guess. And you kind of show some different stuff, like a group project like this, which is interesting. So you kind of mix it up, personal projects, group projects. And different challenges, because this one was really fast paced and I had to do lots of set dressing really fast. Kind of show variety, I think, so that people stay entertained, I guess, throughout the article. Yeah, some tracking as well, because I had learned that. Sorry, we scrolled by really fast. We'll never get there if we don't. So yeah, I tried to vary it up, tell my story. Yeah, that's about it, I think. Yeah, some assets as well, so I can do a bit of modeling. Yeah.
I like how both of you include those icons. Like again, it's not like a must-have, but it kind of looks visually cool with the programs that you've used. Because maybe the judges, I don't know, they might not be concerned specifically with that, but someone going into your entry like now and looking at it and studying it might really appreciate the fact that they know what you've used.
Yeah, and now we're getting to the scripts actually. Yeah, some some tools I didn't need along the way.
Technical stuff.
Technical stuff, yeah, because I really enjoyed that.
Yeah,
Right now
nice.
on our film, I'm pipeline work. So, yeah.
Cool. So you've won twice. This is the second time, right? This entry.
Second.
Yeah. So I think Joe actually asked, and I think I had the similar question. I think this is what Joe means as well. Is did you do anything like differently between these 2 years? Like, did you learn from anything in the previous year that helped in this entry?
Right. So my previous entry, let me put it up actually. Up, and it is this one. Right. This was my first win. And it was for the career opportunities with Outpost VFX section. And for this one, so I had a lot more time for this one because I did it early on. So I took some time, to kind of figure out the presentation, and I kind of reused that format for my second entry. And I think what I learned is that, well, I did good, but I thought if I want to do even better, I must have more impressive projects. So I kind of played into my decision for my frozen environment project, the one at the top, for what the subject was for that one, because I wanted to make it even more impressive than my mountain thingy. So I thought, okay, if I want to do better at the rookies and just in general impress more, like the next step, for me is to do an even bigger environment project. So I guess I had that in the back of my mind, when doing my projects. And like format wise, I wanted to do more storytelling for the second entry, because I thought maybe my first one was a bit too technical. Maybe I didn't, share enough about me and share too much about like the technicity. That's not a word. I don't know. But yeah. that's what I try to focus on. Less technical, more interesting, entertaining. I don't know.
Okay.
It worked.
I guess it works. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
looking back, is there anything that you wish that you would have done like differently in the submissions?
Um. Oh,
Yeah, well,
that's too fast. Jeez.
it's I don't know. Maybe just sometimes I was a bit lazy for my characters. Not just for I'm not talking about the entry itself, but just about the renders that I made about them. Because sometimes for my characters I like put them just in T-pose with the arms like this, and I use those images to put them on the main images for each project. And looking back at it, sometimes I find it a bit ugly. And I try to do that now to put my characters into poses, and it adds so much life. So if you make characters, I highly advise you to put them into a pose, because sometimes a character just doesn't really look nice in T-pose. But then when you animate it, not per se animate, but just if it has a good pose, it can look so much better.
Life. Yeah.
Do you add facial expressions as well? Does that help?
I think yeah. Well, that's because that's why in my two main projects, like the two girls, I took a lot of time to make some facial expressions on them,
Yeah.
and to make a small animation. Like I don't really animate, or I can't wig at all. And it's funny because some people thought I wigged the characters, but not at all. But actually, like yeah, I just sculpted some basic expressions, and then used them, like just blended them one after another, and that made an expression. So like this one. So I think this really shows a lot of things. Like it shows that you put effort into your character, like the topology, so that it can move well, it can deform well. You don't hide anything. Like sometimes you see people, you see characters with their mouth closed, and maybe the interior of the mouth isn't even made. So you see that kind of things. You see the hair follows. That's also some technical stuff. Like it says a lot, and it shows that, well, your character can look nice if it moves. So yeah.
It's
So I
usable.
did that. Yeah, with this character and also with the second one, but it takes some time. So I don't do it on every character. So yeah, I did it. I also did it on this one.
Yeah, I saw
But
those. I actually really liked those. I think it's quite compelling
yeah,
as to see facial expressions because they do like without even intending they like give an emotion, you know? So I think that's why they're quite nice to see. Like
yeah.
maybe it's similar to how you're talking about
Look,
poses. It just makes it seem a little bit more like lifelike.
yeah, and actually, it doesn't always take that much time. Just like sometimes, if it's a personal project, it can take some time after school, but it it's worth the effort, I think. And it's important to like I chose this on just two characters to show it because it's nice. But I also have characters where I was super lazy and I didn't do everything. Like for example, at the very end, like this guy. He doesn't really have proper topology. He doesn't even have the interior of the mouth. I sculpted it in this pose. Like it can't really move at all. But it's also nice to show a quick project to see what you can do in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wanted to variate like that.
Yeah. What
And
about you,
the
Anton?
the
What
original
did
question.
you wish you did differently?
Um. Well, oop, let me go. I do spend a lot of time like thinking about what to do for a project, or like the kind of I guess the pre-production of a personal product, and I guess by the time it's done, I don't let it go until I'm happy with how it is, and like I feel like in a reasonable amount of time I cannot improve it. So I guess I am happy with my projects themselves because they are a representation of how I was as an artist back when I made them. So if there's issues, it's fine. It's just what they are along the way. And I think what I could have improved is I guess the storytelling. Even more, or kind of like give different views of the projects, like more visualizations of I guess different elements. I don't know, turning assets or like more breakdowns or stuff like that. That's very visual, and I can package it into a video or something or a GIF. I think I could have done a bit of that if I had more time,
What do you mean
and that
by
would probably
storytelling?
be.
Can you think of like maybe an example of like what you might imagine that might show off your storytelling in this specific kind of environment piece?
I think for that one, I don't know if I have it.
Like an example
But
from your
for
head,
example,
I
for this,
mean, maybe.
oh sorry, um, I guess kind of telling why I decided to do this project, like what was the intention, and maybe
Okay.
like for this project, for example, that's the one I scrolled to because it's one I had in mind. I
Mm.
know I did this because I read a lot of fantasy books when I was young, and I kind of always
Oh.
imagined, epic landscapes and very dramatic and everything. So I wanted to make a project like this,
Hmm.
and it was my first big environment project. So it's kind of my challenge.
I see.
And just sharing those stories are, I think, interesting because you don't just make like projects in a vacuum. You make them, to evoke some sort of emotion to people. And I think it's more interesting to hear the stories than just seeing the projects, because it gives another dimension, I guess, to the project and to the just like what people feel when they see your post, I guess. Um, yeah, because like I guess we're making images, telling stories. We're not uh, showing my viewpoints. So yeah, I think it's interesting to show that aspect.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. That's cool. I'm looking forward to your next ones if you do submit again, because I think you both can, can't you? You haven't got 1 year experience
Right?
yet. It's still at school.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And
Yeah. And
If a
Christopher
lot of
had a
pressure.
question. Oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah, no, go ahead. Sorry,
Christopher
gonna keep
had a
scoring now.
question. I'm going to answer the last part. He said, "How many submissions does one need?" You by submissions, I think you mean like pieces in that one submission. There is not a minimum. So in these two entries, I know it's like okay, they have tons. We are starting to try and move and tell people like you don't need to have tons. It's very much quality. It's always quality over quantity. And I know that Antoine and Leandro have done quality, even though they've done a lot. But you just captivate the judges. Even with one piece, could make you a winner. There's no minimum or maximum. So I think if you're gonna focus your time, focus on making one thing really great before you move on to the next thing. And then this question I think is mostly for Leandro. The first part of their question is for the submissions. Would you recommend having characters just lit by basic studio lighting or set the scene dramatically?
I think maybe both. I mean, if you have time and if you want to do it. Um, because sometimes it depends on the people who watch it. Because I've had some people when I showed them my work to professional people, they said to me, "Yeah, it's better if we saw this character in a real environment with real lighting. It doesn't really say much to see him just on a clean backdrop with some studio lighting." And then other people said the opposite, because with some environment lighting, with some real lighting, sometimes you can change the way your character is, and sometimes it can maybe enhance it or also maybe hide some things that weren't really good on your character. And so showing your character like in just a turn with a default studio lighting, with a neutral light, no colors in the light and all, it really shows your character the way it is. And if it looks nice that way, then normally it should in every light condition, ideally. And so yeah, I think it's best to make both. Like sometimes, like I know for the one you see now on the screen, I wasn't really super proud of him, like just with the studio lighting. So I just wanted him to look nice with a good lighting. But like that was a small project. But for my two main projects, like the two girls, I tried to have both. Like I think for one of the two, I didn't really have a real lighting, environment lighting, and I did it afterwards, after the contest, like during summer. But yeah, I think it's nice to have both.
Okay, cool. Yeah, thank you. I have another question. I don't really understand this one. And by the way, guys, keep the questions coming if you do have questions. Again, like I have questions that I can ask them, but this is sessions really for you, so keep the questions coming. Henry said, Great work. Congratulations. Something I can't get. Why gorilla render? Just for school requirements. It reminds me of old Clarisy. Is that how you say it? I've never heard these words. But it's very rare to see people using it.
Right. I think the main reason is that it's because it is like the assembly software we're taught at our school. We do start with Maya and Redshift, but we move away to Gorilla. And the intention is that that we can learn how to, manage our data and package it so that we can send it to another software, which is sometimes the case. Like if you're working at a studio and either you have to send it to another department or you have to send it to another package, Katana, whatever there is, Houdini even. I guess it's interesting to have that knowledge as a student. And also, it's an amazing render, honestly. It's just so fast. And it's really, really nice to work in it. Like just in general, I love the software. It's very hard to learn, I think, because there's not many resources online, but it's a really, really cool software. And currently, like on our film, we're doing shots and there's effects for motion blur, depth of field, everything you could want. And the renders are really fast. Like in the viewport, it's basically real time. The final renders are, I don't know, 10 minutes. It's great.
Yeah.
I like it. And it's a full CPU renderer and like everything you would want, And yeah, it's really nice, honestly. But we can still use other renders. And we do them. I think you do them for.
Yeah, sometimes in my entry I used sometimes Arnold.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I'm a bit lazy, so I like to just stay in Maya. I think it's simpler. So maybe when I see the environments, Guerrilla is really cool for environments, I think, because Maya can't handle too many polygons and stuff.
Yeah.
But for me, as a character artist, like just having one character that you show, sometimes Arnold can perfectly do the job, and sometimes I don't want to export my things and do everything outside Maya. And it's also cool to, not forget the other render engines and also diversify.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for environments, it does eat up like everything you throw at it. Like, I think for my store environments, I had, I don't know how many, I think like 100 million polygons and like procedural shaders on everything and decals and fog and scatters of VDBs and everything and depth of field, whatever. And it just churned through it. It doesn't matter, which is great. So yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, thanks for the insight. There's a few people typing, so once they have questions, so we'll answer them if they are questions or if they're saying thank you. We'll see. But one thing I wanted to ask both of you is if there was any like feedback or like how did you kind of throughout the process, did you go to anyone for feedback and did you have any feedback that like helped shape your work?
Well, for sure, first of all, our friends and family, but I think most of all our mentors, because they are always here. Like they generally at school in the afternoon we do a bit of our own, but in the
morning.
In the morning, they come to us and they look at our project, they look at our renders, and they always tell us about how we could improve things. And so it's always like not really for the entry itself, but for all the projects that we showed into them. We always have so many feedbacks from the mentors.
Yeah, because we do get to know them because they follow us through the years. Like for example, the environments mentor have had him for 4 years now, so we can we develop a relationship and everything, and they're really nice. They're always open to help us, and so yeah, I think mentors primarily, but then also we're in an open space, so we just turn around, ask for help, like ask for opinions. I know when I did do my projects, I just turn them on all the time, ask people around me, what do you think about this? Is this good? Like, is this better? Is this better? I know I bugged Leandro last year for my project.
And also, like at the end of the day, we generally need to post our work on a software named, not software, the site named Shotgrid.
Flow now.
Flow now. It's named, and so generally everything can see it. So everyone can respond to it, comment to it, and generally the teachers look at it in the evening, and then the next day generally you have an answer, or the mentors come directly to you, and you also that's for your work at school. like, you need to do those posts. But there was also like there was a kind of channel for your personal projects, and I know like I posted a lot in them, and that way everyone can see them as well, and they can give advice and all, even for your personal projects. So that's super cool always to have some advice.
That's
and also,
great.
yeah, Discord communities. There's a bunch, like CG Lounge, and the French one is called La Forge. And just like a bunch of Discords you can chat in and ask for help, and lots of people from around the world, kind of give you opinions and advice, and it's really nice because, yeah, you get access to that now. Just
Yeah.
it's cool.
I mean, that's what everyone's
should
doing
use it.
here.
Yeah.
So that's why we're here. Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, I think that's a great tip. I think if anyone hasn't posted their work for feedback, even like at all, whatever it is, a personal project or even maybe their entry for Rookie Awards this year, make sure you do. And whether it's in this community or other communities or even multiple, because I think you can't ever get enough. Like, although you might not implement everyone's opinions, you can never get enough feedback, to your point. So, do it.
Yeah.
Oh, someone's asking, what were the communities that you mentioned? City Lounge.
So there's a CG Lounge. CG. Let me type it actually.
Oh, that'd be
People
great.
have
Thank
it.
you.
CG Lounge. There's a French one called La Forge. And then there's so many others, honestly. It's kind of hard to.
I'm not really. I think you know more.
Yeah, but I kind of forget. But there's a bunch, honestly. The more you join, the more you can.
Generally, each software has their
each software
Discord
does have the
channel.
Discord,
Yeah.
more or less
That's
active,
true.
and
Yeah.
it's.
I think the OB is quite.
Yeah, and the
acceptance.
rookies as well. You do
Yeah.
meet people through the rookies, and you can get their feedback. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
That's great.
That's useful. I think that's very useful. Someone asked, what was your aim for joining the rookies? Like, what were you hoping, I think, to get out of it? I think I kind of asked you that at the beginning, but maybe just to answer their questions, maybe answer it a bit again. Sorry.
Yeah, well, I think obviously it's kind of just a cool challenge to win, but it's also to have more reach, I guess, like to be able to show your work to so many people. It's really cool, not just professionals, but also some other people, and then maybe you can connect and stuff like that. So that's cool. And I like last year I wasn't really searching for any job, but I will be in a few months. So I'm sure that like the fact that I won it will be a good trump card. I mean, it's definitely something that I will use.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
And for me, I mean, it wasn't directly to find the job. It was just to put my work and share it to people, that more people can see it. And it does help. Like, I mean, it does help to build connections with people where you wouldn't have met otherwise. Met lots of people through the rookies, like in the aftermath of winning, just lots of people contacting me with that in mind. So it does help, and it does kind of give you like, I guess people hear your name and they're like, "Ah, you're the dude that, yeah, the rookies." And yeah, it is nice.
You got exposure. Basically.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Nice kind of exposure. And I'm kind of wondering as well, like mindset wise, because I know beforehand you said that, you weren't expecting to win. So like after you did win, did it help you any kind of confidence boosting or any way in your mindset to approaching like how you learn?
Well, I mean, for me, it did help that like I understood that what I'm doing is, well, I don't know what to say. I mean, sometimes when you do your own projects and you post it like on you're a bit on your own, and sometimes you wonder like for I mean, I'm doing this, but yeah, I mean, sometimes you don't really get so many exposure out of it, and just by like first like being in the finalist and then winning, it gives a good impression. I mean, not a good impression, but I mean, you gain a lot of confidence with it, and it proves that like your projects are kind of good, I guess, and it just encourages me it encourages me to continue just to do what I did all these years. And
Yeah, it's like you must be doing something right. So I guess for me it validated that I guess my methodology to doing projects kind of works, and I should keep doing it like this. And it does give you like a confidence boost in that regard. And I think also in what's the word, like when you're doing interviews, job interviews, and like internship interviews, whatever, you do feel like a bit more confident. Okay, I think I know how to do a bit of 3D.
Yeah.
I can handle this. um, so yeah, it does help in that regard.
yeah, but for me personally, even for the 2 first entries, even when I didn't win, like for me personally, it gave me a kind of boost. Like I thought I really wanted to win, not just for the prizes, but just for the fact to prove myself. And so
Okay.
it always boosted me, and so I always wanted to do more and better.
Yeah, and
Good.
I guess because the original question was like a skill that we developed, or yeah, I think both of us just pay a lot of attention to like polishing the details, and like we work a lot. Yeah, it's probably down. It's just like, I mean, people see the final result, like the
Yeah.
final post and everything, but they don't see all the failures. And like I've been doing 3D for 10 years now, and I failed so much, and I've done so many bad projects and terrible images I'm never going to show. And yeah, it's just like the compounding, effect. And in the end, you get this result, but there's so much like effort that went into it
Time.
behind.
Sometimes you can't imagine the time we spend on one project. Even if we have a lot of projects to show, I mean, we've been here since, in Creative Seeds, we've been here since 3 or more years. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's obvious that we have a lot of projects to show.
Yeah, because you work on it all year, so
Yeah.
like on your projects all year. So yeah.
Oh yeah, I think both of you are very inspiring. I think you both put yourselves out there and it paid off, which is good to learn from. Let me see. Do you have a question? I think it's more for me. 1 minute. May you participate if you're specialized in something very specific, like groom, and you have not done the modelization or the aspect of the asset? I don't know what groom is. I'm not a 3D artist. That's a hard one to answer. So maybe post that one in the Discord, and we'll get someone. Maybe one of the founders can answer that one for you. I'm really sorry. I'm not entirely sure what you mean. But Leandro.
I know that maybe not maybe 2 years ago or 3 years ago there was someone who won, I think, in the 3D animation category, and she
Okay.
only did grooms.
Oh, okay.
I think, or maybe she was finalist or she won, but I think it was also a French person, and like she showed all those grooms on animals, on tigers, on monkeys and stuff, and
Oh,
she didn't really push. She didn't really push like all the textures of all the animals, but she really focused on just the groom. So I think that might do the trick.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you for that. You can use other people's assets, for example, as long as you like are clear what is yours and what is not. So, say if you use something to assist your work and then you do an aspect of it, like for example the hair and the fur and the feathers that you were talking about, you can do that. So, I mean, yeah, if there is one that's won before, maybe take a look, or a finalist, and see if you can track them down. I'm not aware of which one that is, but you probably can, because all the contests are in the past and still there, and all the winners are there. So have a look. But it sounds like that's perfectly fine. But just make sure your every image, like these two have produced, is very finished. That applies to everyone though, because really the judges are looking at like how many, so many. So the details do matter because they want to see your image and it kind of catch their eye. And to catch an eye, it needs to be a finished image, right? So as long as it's finished, great. Over your years of learning, how did you balance your schedule? That's a great question. How much time do you dedicate to school, work, vs personal stuff? And are there any tools that you guys like to use for managing time and goals?
Oops. I think we both have probably an issue with work. We work
Really?
a bit much. Yeah. It's just like personal, like I guess it's kind of an obsession at some point.
I think we
Oh,
don't
okay.
really always see it as work. It's
Yeah.
also like a kind of a passion factor.
Yeah, there is a passion factor.
Yeah.
Like you know, you don't care if you go to sleep at midnight or 2. If you really love the project and you're like, oh, I want to finish this thing, and yeah,
You should sleep.
yeah, exactly. Balancing it. One thing that's really cool is that the way the school works is that from 9 a.m. until 5:30, we're working on a project. Like at the moment, it's our film, but it could be a personal project or whatever. And so it's kind of like a job or at a studio. And when you go home, you don't necessarily need to work on like what you have at school. You don't have really homework because you're working on it all the day, like during the whole day. So in the evenings, you can work on your personal stuff or just do whatever you want.
That's really
And
cool.
same for the weekends. Yeah, and if you want to push the projects more, you do. And I think that's kind of the what helped me. I think it's gonna have that balance. Like I get to choose if I want to keep pushing it or not. And some days I don't. Some days I really do. Like if I see the rookie deadline coming, I'm like, okay, I need to finish the project now so that I can post it. And yeah, and like a tool to manage my time and goals. I don't personally, because I think it's more like it comes from me. Like my passion kind of like it just drives me in general.
Yeah, it's how you want, I think.
Yeah,
Because
it's just however
I know one
feels
time
best.
I had a lot of work, like work from school, a bit of freelance work, a bit of things that I wanted to do personally for my personal work. And so I know at one time I tried to have like, okay, now for 1 or 2 hours I do this, then I do that, and I do that. But well, it lasted just so long, like maybe 2 or 3 weeks. So I guess it's really like how you want.
Yeah.
But I think coming back to the personal, I mean to our own involvement into work, I think it's also important to also just make a pause and hang out with friends.
Yeah.
And personally, I had sometimes I have a hard time doing that, but I try to just I mean profiter.
Yeah. I see what you mean. Enjoy.
Enjoy, yeah. So just enjoy when friends ask you to go out because we're still young, so you have to you have to enjoy it. You have to go out, and I calmed down a bit this year. Even if there was a lot of work for the film, but yeah, like when I first came to Crave the Seeds during these 2 years, I really was super motivated. So after school, I kept doing personal stuff, and that's why I had so much work to show. But now I try to
Keep it down.
keep it down.
I mean, I honestly, I do sometimes feel guilty when I'm not working, because I feel like,
Really?
okay, I could, other people are improving. I could do more. I could improve. So it's kind of hard to stop yourself, and set boundaries. Like, okay, tonight I'm going to stop working. I'm going to like relax. Yeah, I think it depends on everyone.
But yeah, that's for us because I know people. I have friends that like after school they don't really want to do any more 3D. Like sometimes they do because it's still fun sometimes, but they just have other things to do, and that's perfectly fine. But I mean, if we enjoy to do it, well,
Might as well.
yeah, why won't we do it?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
they asked if you had any tools, but the sounds of things. Tell me if you think this is accurate. Is that you have a very healthy environment? I think like you two, and maybe even more of your friends, like are all in the same. You have similar goals, or you want to get somewhere, and it sounds like you push each other along, but also hang out at the same time. So it sounds like you're able to balance that like work life quite well, while really like being pushed along in the work aspect.
Yeah, I think it's also kind of a chance because we are in a bubble, like we live in the city, we go to school, and then in the evenings and the weekends we can hang out and do like whatever. And I guess there's no much other responsibilities. Just study, work, and then relax and have fun when you want. So I guess because of that we can, I guess push ourselves.
Yeah.
Like
And
we have to.
encourage one another because sometimes in 3D, like in any art domain, there can be a lot of unhealthy competition, maybe in some schools and all. But it's important to try to just like just try encourage everyone, and
Yeah.
it's cool to wanting to be better at your work, but not just for winning against someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
That's cool.
sure.
I'm glad that you're in that kind of environment. I think that's very lucky, actually. I
Yeah.
think that's really great that you're there.
Yeah. For sure.
Um,
Yeah.
do you, let me see. Do you have any like final goal? Like, what's your final goals?
Leandro, you go ahead.
It changes. It often changes, really. Like at first, I was all about the big studios, obviously, like really going to the USA, going to Disney and stuff like that. And now maybe I don't know, maybe just small studios are also fine. Like right now, I'm more thinking about Illumination, the studio. Because well, it's also in Paris. That isn't too far from where I live. That could be cool, and that could be a great, cool studio because they make great stuff. But it changes so often. So maybe next year I will be obsessed by another studio. So I don't know really.
And for me, well, same as Leandro. I used to be really, focused on, okay, I'm gonna go to ILM and WEDA and all the big names, and I think now I did a bunch of internships, one at Unit Image and one at Framestore, and I think what that told me is that I also really enjoy like working on specific projects. There's certain things I really like, and that's what I look for now. Is the project really cool, and am I gonna have a good time there? And yeah, it's like the people you're surrounded with are really important, and that's why I really enjoy school right now. Is that I have all my friends around me. We're doing 3D all day, and it's so fun, and I want to keep that environment for as long as possible through my career, if possible. And yeah, I think I really look for that. As long as it's interesting, and I have,
Yeah.
I find interest in the project. We can like try things and explore. I like it.
Sounds like you've made your work so like exciting to do. Like you describe it as fun, which I think is amazing because if it's fun, why wouldn't you want to do it?
It's not always fun.
It's not always fun. Yeah.
You need to keep it.
Sometimes.
to try to keep it fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for me it was for a while I did 3D in my room, Like I was
Yeah.
self-taught, I did 3D in my room, and like the first 5 or 6 years I was on my own. And now that I found an environment with lots of people that also like 3D, I'm like, okay, I don't want to let go. Let me stay here. Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
I used to draw a lot, and that was kind of replaced slowly by doing 3D. So now because sometimes now when I do 3D, it's not really always technical stuff. Sometimes I just go into ZBrush and sculpt some characters, and
Okay.
I find it really fun because you don't really need to think about any technical stuff. So that's true as a character artist, because I think as a wigger, it's a different kind of fun maybe. So trying to solve complex problems and stuff, but it's cool for me.
Yeah. Like that goes deep into I think people's personalities by that point. But yeah, that's cool. So we're already at half past. We've gone up to an hour already, which is great. So I think we can pretty much wrap it up. I'm just going to read what a few people have said. I'm sorry I keep calling you people. It's because I'm streaming and I can't see your names. It like blocks out some of them. So I'm sorry. I said I just finished my program. I was working on a project at least 10 hours a day, 7 days a week. Wow. For too long and experiencing massive burnout. Take the time to rest, step away from the project and get fresh eyes for it. So I think a few people were related to you guys. Alex said really relatable. Passion sometimes just takes over everything. You have to keep a healthy balance. Yeah, that's good. I like that. I think that's something that's really like overlooked. Is actually sometimes if you're feeling so stressed out, like prodding it even more and like go for it even more is just gonna make it worse by that point. Yeah. Cool. So I'm gonna leave on one final question, and that is if you can give only one piece of advice to everyone who's submitting to the awards this year, what would that one advice be?
Well, just go for it. I think.
Yeah, just
do it. Don't be afraid. I mean, I tried 2 times, and the third time it was cool. I won, so why won't you?
That's true. And I think don't hold yourself back. Like just just post, even if it's not perfect. Just post. At least at the minimum, you have prepared stuff for your portfolio, so it's always gained. But yeah, just even if you don't believe it, just do it.
Yes, so many people have unfinished projects. I mean, even we, even I, but like if you have a project and sometimes you just don't want to continue it, and although it's nearly finished, so just finish it. And even if you don't really like it, maybe you will like it after taking a step back, and maybe other people like it. So just show it, and you will see.
Yeah,